Good morning and welcome to the only show that goes very well with your cup of joe. That is Smell the Coffee. I'm your host, Glenora Shipura, and in today's episode, we are taking a look at the events calendar in and around Windhoek. We'll be covering what has happened on the Windhoek scene in terms of entertainment for the past 2 weeks. We'll be right back on the other side of this.
Welcome to the Business 7 Show, Namibia's primary economic analysis program. My name is Sokhane Klache, and we bring you in-depth news covering the main aspects of Namibia's economy, plus interviews of key economic individuals that make the key policy decisions that shape our nation's future. Join us on Business 7 every week as we unpack what is important to our nation and what drives its economy.
We start off at the Rush Shihama Tribute Concert and Memorial Service at Zoo Park that happened on Wednesday. Shinana Gihifilwa, the Vice Chairperson of NASCAM's interim board, delivered a message on behalf of the organization, announcing that the payout to members' families upon their passing will rise from 3,000 Nambian to 15,000 Nambian, with Rush Shihama's family set to be the first to benefit. Now, the event was hosted by MTC with support from NASCAM and the Dilimani Cultural Troupe, and it brought fans together to honor the Namibian reggae pioneer. Here are the highlights from the event, including Big Ben's emotional performance of his tribute song, Just Let It Go.
This important campaign, which was not yet launched, will debut in October. It speaks to the livelihood of Namibian artists, encouraging all music users from jukeboxes to restaurants to DJs and even owners of smartphones and USB drives to pay the small fee required for their usage of these works, which is music, film, books, so on and so forth. This money goes directly into the pockets of the artists who created the works. I say that to say this. We must stop saying that artists are poor. Artists are beggars. When we are the same people who refuse to pay these dues, we must appreciate our artists while they are alive. NASCAM is one tool to ensure Namibian artists can live dignified lives. Currently, NASCAM is self-funded through the collection of royalties that we get from to advocate for music users to pay for their licenses. This important campaign, which was not yet launched, will debut in October. It speaks to the livelihood of Namibian artists, encouraging all music users from jukeboxes to restaurants to DJs and even owners of smartphones and USB drives to pay the small fee required for their usage of these works, which is music, film, books, so on and so forth. This money goes directly into the pockets of the artists who created the works. I say that to say this. We must stop saying that artists are poor. Artists are beggars. When we are the same people who refuse to pay these dues, we must appreciate our artists while they are alive. NASCAM is one tool to ensure Namibian artists can live dignified lives. Currently, NASCAM is self-funded through the collection of royalties that we get from.
my colleagues, comrades, the people who grew up together with Hans, people who know Hans, who knew Hans when we were 10 years old, when he was 10 years old. It is both a privilege and heavy responsibility to stand before you to reflect on the life of Hans Ras-Chehama, the brother we knew and cherished. Dear Monas, now I am going to present the message of condolence from Nyango, Nigerian students. Thank you very much. I cannot see. Okay. From Nigerian students. The late Hans Chehama was well known to most of us who studied in the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the 1980s. Majority of us came to know Ras Chehama in the early 1980s in SWAPO Health and Education Center, where his musical journey began. At that time, he stayed in a tent with William Nanjaya, whom we normally call Uncle Willie, with late Jackson Kawiyewa and Tate Bispa as a neighbor. Hans Ras Chehama would often sing in front of their tent, sitting on tins as makeshift chairs. And he would join Tate Kawiyewa and Bispa in their singing sessions. In 1982, Hans Ras Chehama, with other children, were moved to another SWAPO camp known as Nyango Educational Center in the Republic of Namibia, Zambia, sorry for that, where he became the head of the Nyango Band concert group, together with Timotheus Shinana and Dangi Mushimba, to mention a few. In 1985, he was sent to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, along with other young boys and girls, under the United Nations High Commission of Refugees, to pursue his secondary school education, where he was enrolled at the Federal Government College in Janiki in Lagos State, Nigeria. It was during this period, while in Lagos, Nigeria, that his passion for music deepened and he became highly skilled in singing. Wherever he went, Hans carried a small notebook in his back pocket.
In our next stop, Otilia Tutu Mongomba, the director and producer of Fera, a documentary that explores local slang and how it is used in everyday conversation. The production was created in a collaboration with the UNDP Accelerator Lab, Impact, and Tang Fabrica Makeathon. Here is Tutu at the launch of Fera in Windhoek last week, Friday.
We just here by the Kushamba. What's that like?
Language is a carrier of culture.
We ought to control our own narrative.
Hello, hi.
So my name is Ottilia Tutubugoba, content strategist, creative director, and filmmaker. So Fiera, which really, the name already gives it away. And I think many times as creatives we have been told, please don't title your work on the nose type of titling. So, but Fiera really talks about how the linguistic landscape influences us as Namibians, and how people use slang to communicate, whether it's on a formal or informal stratosphere of communication. And we look at the challenges that comes from speaking slang and how that spills over to the academia, how that spills over to the corporate. But it's a very interesting find, because most of my work really is data driven. So we really speak to experts who are linguistics, who work in communication, and then of course we take it to the streets, and then we speak to pop culture icons and what they have to say about slang and colloquialism in modern Namibia. So it was very interesting. All my work is collaborator driven, so it's not really by myself. You know that funding is an issue. It sucks in Namibia. So sometimes you need to pitch, and you need to tell people why they need to invest into your project with having little or no return on investment. So it's been like pulling teeth, but every time we're trying. But Fiera is a 2023 edition. I've gone on to do other work. I've gone on to do one other more independently produced documentary, which is Beyond the Goalpost. So Fiera just stems from being a creative in modern day Namibia and really talking about what Namibians are facing, what Namibians are talking about, and what really transcends us as a people today and tomorrow. Most of my work really stems from curiosity. Half of the things I don't even know where it comes from, but I was very much interested in why people speak Tita, Loga, Sindal, and I would be in a group of people and people were talking around me and I wouldn't get what they were saying. I was like, no man, this seems like everybody needs to know what is happening, because if you have somebody from the north who speaks slang in Oshuango and somebody who speaks slang in Oshuango, Windhoek, those two people would hardly even get each other. So it's very fascinating to see how language really can divide us, but how can bring us together. So for me, I really truly think that artists are mediums of impression, mediums of what we are, where we are today, and where we are going tomorrow. So for me, I've always just been curiosity. Curiosity really continues to drive my work, because I'm African. So I really want to know, why are people doing it? What should be done about it, and how does it affect us? So as Namibians, so easy does it.
Identify a kindred soul or a spirit that somebody.
So I do tell you, as a female producer and as a director, it's quite disheartening, because I primarily work with men. So there's a lot of masculinity that drives the storytelling style, whether it's in shooting, whether it's in editing. So sometimes, but I've been very fortunate. I do tell you, I've been very fortunate as a creative really to work with men that really can really say, okay, look, we're getting your creative voice and we really see what your picture is, what your vision is. So let's really walk around it as well. I think Namibia is in a very privileged position, unlike our other country, brother country, unlike our other sister and brother countries, where the whole push and pull between gender really comes to play in the workplace. I really do think that more Namibian females should really step up to the threshold and really take on being producers, being directors, and really making their voices heard through their work. People don't say it, but the challenge really is when you're doing independent work, the money is not as good as doing commissioned work. So it's you putting in between 50 and 150,000 into a project and knowing that probably you will not stem the return on investment at the end of the day, but you really want to hear your voice being heard. So for me, I'm being a little bit of a MacGyver and a Rambo and a Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger and a whole type of karate ninja kid on my own, and really saying, look, I've got stories to tell. So how can I tell the stories cost effectively, but really getting the message across? Super excited. So as the year ends, I really want to be like a little bit of a naughty, troublesome child. So my next work is not in film, it's not in radio, it's not for online, it is for theatre. So I started off in theatre. So I'm in the process of finalizing a theatre staging that's coming about the very touchy issue in Namibia. So I'm super excited about that one. We know that it's very disheartening right now because in Namibia, online monetization is 0 to none. We really implore government really to have a conversation to push the Bank of Namibia and really have parties that have an influential voice really on the table to say, guys, what are we doing to emancipate Namibian creatives, really to put their work online? So my work is really not on YouTube. My work is really not on any platform because of the monetization issue. So I'm really excited to announce that we're starting off with the school credits. I think that take 2. I'm really excited to announce that my work will be part of the school screening project, where we're taking my work to 6 schools in the Commerce region. We're hoping for government to jump on, and then we plan to do the 8 regions with 2 schools per region, and really taking my work to the classroom. So there's a little bit of a high and a low for that because financing is really a challenge most of the time, but I'm super excited. So we started with our first, we did Havana 2 weeks ago on the 28th of August. It was last week. So we're starting off with People's Primary School on the 16th of September, and then that will culminate into Dare of the Namibian Child. So I'm super excited taking my work to children as part of the nice school class. So I'm excited. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Maybe your pinky, maybe your toe, but you won't lose your nose, you won't lose your ears, you won't lose your mouth. Will only then be able to amplify your voice and really, truly tell moving stories. Folktale has always been a part of us as Namibians, as Africans. We can only continue to transcend our narratives today, tomorrow, and beyond. What do you have to lose? Nothing. Plus, I think many people don't really ask for help. Many people don't ask for mentorship. Many people don't ask to be part of the madness and the process of really putting things together. So what if you carry coffee on a film set? So what if you have to pull cables and be a best boy? So what does it hurt for you to do the lights and to carry people's laundry? It's the learning that comes thereafter. And the vulnerability is really our strongest suit as creators.
Fera is definitely a must watch. Moving on, recently the NTN hosted the Live in Song Night, where we caught up with Ori, a musician and MC of the evening. The event featured performances by Waters, Sagaria Tsam and Erna Chimo. Have a look. I'm now joined by Ori, otherwise known as Kwayonga Ngashuru at home. She is a multi-talented artist. She has graced the stage as the boastful, soulful musician, but she has also done other works in the industry. She is an actor. She is also an MC. I mean, I feel like I can't stop talking about you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, how are you?
I'm good.
Well, it's not a lie. I do wear a few of those hats, and quite excited to have you here.
Yes, we are at the NTN Live in Song.
I love the performances, but most importantly, I love how they were ushered in on the stage by your voice.
You did the thing
Yeah.
that must be done.
Yeah, well, I am pretty privileged to be for NTN to have seen me fit to be the MC for tonight. I was excited. I was looking forward to a lot, but I wasn't sure what I will walk into. But super excited that I was gonna grace the stage, especially in a different
Setting like that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you can wear different hats and that you can work, in the industry, not only just as one thing. You can dip your toe in that, dip your toe in the other thing, and then here we are. Could we talk about who dressed you?
Well, this is from Thrift Like You. That is a stylist called Jeffrey Huey. Otherwise, we also had Happy that did touch on a thing or two as well. And I did 2 looks. And yeah, those were the 2 people I worked with. Happy, the designer, and Jeffrey Huey, the stylist.
Getting back to the industry, especially the music industry, I can't wait to see you also grace the stage with your soulful, sultry music and voice as well. How important is it as a Namibian community to have events such as the Live in Song night, be it at the NTN or where have you?
It's very important because this event was intentionally brought to life so that we can bring back into just the spirit of live music, right? It is important because it reminds us of roots, like the likes of Zacharias when he was on stage. It was mainly storytelling. And I couldn't help but also see a little bit of Jackson Kauyewa in him, a little bit of Oliver Mtukuzi in him, as well as the Tatekwela. So it was very, very beautiful for me to witness a little bit of what our parents used to witness within our now age by a very young creative as well. So it is important. It reminds us of a lot of where we come from. The story is told by the musicians, of course, through their journeys. So it's important.
How important is it for artists to, it doesn't necessarily need to be a collaboration, but to work together in the industry?
I love that you asked that, especially because tonight had such a diverse lineup rather. We had the likes of Waters, who is an R&B and also very young, has a very young following. We had Franz Marty, who is also extremely young but also has a very mature following because of the kind of sound he does. And then having to have Erna Chimu on the very same stage is I think it's a beauty, and for me that's the beginning of the power of collaboration. For us artists that are within this room manage to witness it, and I think it will provoke a thing or two if we're not tickled to just want to collaborate a little, then I don't know.
Let's speak about creativity. Let's move back a few stages before we get to the stage. What's your creative process like? I did get to chat with the other artists, and we got into that. But yeah, what's your creative process like? I know everybody, it's very different, but it's quite interesting to hear.
Yeah. Well, I don't do much. I sleep. I sleep. I love to reserve my energy when I am getting ready for a program, a project, whatever it is. It is very necessary to take some rest, because the well-rested version of you will know what to do.
Speaking of that, I think that also ties in terms of just taking care of yourself. And taking care of your mental health. Do you think that it's important for artists Of course, we will share the full interview on our social media pages. And on that note, we have come to the end of the show. From me, Glenora Shipura. Until next time.